Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Detroit Lions Lone Wolves podcast. I'm John Macaroon, special edition, bi-week edition of the podcast. Everyone around the Detroit Lions is looking forward to some time off, but we keep it moving here on the Lone Wolves podcast. I really wanted to check in with the player of the game against the Vikings. This week, we got a special guest, Detroit Lions cornerback Amik Robertson will be joining this podcast in just a few moments. I wanted to check in with one of the grittiest, toughest players on the Lions roster, somebody that really displays the gritty, tough, never say die, always take on a challenge mindset in a defensive back that has really showcased, hey, when it's time for your opportunity, you go out there and you showcase everything that you're about. When Amik Robertson was given the task of guarding Justin Jefferson, all-world wide receiver for the Vikings, really embraced it. And not only did he embrace the challenge, but Amik Robertson shined and was a major factor why the Lions were able to succeed and win 31-9. I want to catch up with how he's going to spend his bye week, the 15-2 season that he was part of, a defense now that is looking to continue their growth and getting an opportunity now to play in the postseason at home with the number one seed. It's going to be a great interview, an opportunity to learn a little bit more about how he developed that mindset. Where did his gritty, always challenge yourself to be better mindset? Because to play the defensive back position, you got to be wired a little bit differently. You got to be able to put aside outside noise. You got to be able to put aside all the trash talk that you're going to hear from these, high ego, high intensity wide receivers. And also, too, I think the opportunity that I really want to learn about too is Amik gets to practice regularly against the Lions wideouts in Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Tim Patrick. What's it like to battle day in and day out against some of the top end wideouts in the National Football League? It's a Detroit Lions football team right now that's relishing the season that they just had, meeting really two goals that they set prior to the year, 15-2. The obvious goal was to win the division again, back-to-back NFC North division champions. Remember, this football team hadn't won a division in decades. Now, back-to-back in 2023 and 2024, the Detroit Lions hoist the NFC North division title and also accomplishing a goal that they've never accomplished as an organization in the Super Bowl era, the number one seed in the NFC, meaning all roads lead through Detroit. Any team that wants to get to the Super Bowl is going to have to come through Ford Field, at least through the divisional round. And then you recognize, all right, the Lions have put themselves in a great position to be able to get to the NFC Championship game and 2 games away, 2 victories away from the Super Bowl, something that everybody wants to see. Obviously, a clear goal for all players, and especially Amik Robertson, a competitor who came over from the Las Vegas Raiders, a situation in which he got to see firsthand what Detroit's all about, playing on Monday Night Football, being around the scene at Ford Field, which can be intense, which can be challenging, so challenging for the opposition. He got to experience it. And when it was time for him to decide in free agency, hey, what's an opportunity I want to take? He made it known that he wanted to be part of the Lions, and probably the reputation of Aaron Glenn, knowing that he would be challenged, he would be developed, he'd get an opportunity to compete and hone his craft. I think that Amik Robertson, when you survey the landscape, no better landing spot than going from the Raiders, who are in disarray, having fired their coach, and going to a coach with lesser experience in Antonio Pierce, coming into Detroit, where everything is like a well-oiled machine, with Dan Campbell running everything at the head of the coaching staff, to Aaron Glenn now, who's being talked about as a real strong candidate to really earn one of the jobs that's open, whether it be the Jets, Saints, Raiders now that job is open, Patriots. Aaron Glenn is in demand and will have an opportunity to have his choice, I believe, of where he wants to go, just based on the game alone. I can't wait to learn about how that came together, the game plan for the Vikings, because my goodness, nobody, myself included, nobody thought the Detroit Lions were going to hold the Vikings to 9 points. I had the Lions winning 30-27, thought it'd be a more competitive football game, thought the Vikings would meet the challenge of the Lions and play very well. But the Lions defense, the big reason why the Vikings didn't score a touchdown was the Lions defense. They pressured Sam Darnold. They were stout in the red zone, battled through and through each play, and Amik Robertson did not allow Justin Jefferson to control the game. And to see the numbers that Naylor and Addison and Jefferson put up far below what many people would expect. And so that's why players like Amik Robertson, they've heard the noise, they've heard the talk about what the defense can accomplish. But in the end, when you look at it, they're not going to, make excuses. They're a 15-2 football team. The defense has done quite a bit to be able to be resilient, handle all the injuries. And now Amik too as well had his role shifted. Clearly, he was in a position as a nickel slot cornerback, and now there were opportunities for him to play on the outside, and his versatility, his grittiness allowed him to take advantage of an opportunity when it presented itself because Carlton Davis, many people thought, man, with the injury to Carlton Davis, the secondary is going to have a major drop off. Well, the situation is, yeah, without Alex Anzalone, the defense did not play as well, but still good enough to win games. But now with Alex Anzalone returning, Amik Robertson gaining confidence and gaining confidence with each start, you can see his confidence rise and his abilities really come to fruition in terms of going through the system and getting better through each game, always willing yourself to improve and get better. You see a defense that's ready, it's championship ready to meet the challenge of the NFC and in the Super Bowl. The defense is as good as ever. And if they are able to execute, you can say if they execute the game plan to the degree that everybody expects Aaron Glenn to put out a good game plan, this defense can help this football team win games in the postseason. So everyone's excited to see who that team is gonna be that comes to Ford Field, whether it be the Commanders, whether it be the Packers, could it be the Vikings? We're definitely curious to see who's gonna come back to town. Is it gonna be the Rams? Another matchup with Matthew Stafford. It's going to be very intriguing and telling this weekend as everybody sits back, relax, watch the postseason, watch the NFC and AFC playoffs, and let's see who's going to come to Ford Field. Good luck to whoever comes to Ford Field because led by Amik Robertson, that defense is going to make it very tough and challenging for any offense to play well. Coming up next, our interview, the Detroit Lions Lone Wolves interview with cornerback Amik Robertson. As advertised, special guest, Detroit Lions cornerback Amik Robertson joins us this week on the Lone Wolves podcast, coming off of one of the great performances against the Vikings. Amik, thank you so much for taking the time on your off day to chat with us.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man. It's all good, man. Anytime I'm able to get on the podcast, that I'm familiar with, I'm always all in, man. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's an off day. So tell us a little bit. What does Amik Robertson like to do on his off day? What's a perfect off day for you?
Oh, I just the reason why we started so late, man, because I usually get up on my off day, go to the facility, do my little sauna workout, abs, push-ups, um, for about 30 minutes. I stay in the total for like 45 minutes. I get in 30 minutes, then go get in the cold tub for my neck up, work on my heart rate, man, my recovery, and then I do that 2 times, and I shower, man. Come back home, man, and probably relax, maybe play the game or watch movies. That's what I do, man. I'm a kind of chill guy.
Yeah, no doubt. And listen, you guys earned it. You guys had a week 5 bye. Any opportunities for days off? A day like
Yeah,
today, Coach Campbell talked about 3 days off this weekend, well deserved. And we'll talk about how you're going to spend the bye week,
yeah.
relaxing, recovering ahead of these big time playoffs. But I did want to get a sense of why football for you? Why was the sport appealing for you? I know you did have also a love of basketball too.
Yeah. I think football was something that, my uncle put me in it when I was 5, man. I was in Houston. He put me in it when I was 5, so it just stuck with me. He just see me all the time walking, walking around the house playing with my other, my other cousins, playing with them. My older cousins playing with them. And he was like, you know what, I'm gonna put him in football. And I started playing football when I was 5 in Houston, and it just stuck with me. I ain't started playing basketball until like maybe middle school. I wasn't really good until like my ninth, eighth grade year. So I think football is just something that I just have a different kind of love and passion for. It's just something that just stuck with me. And I don't know how football is everything to me.
How'd you find yourself playing defense? Did you play offense at all as a youngster?
I'm an offense. It's crazy. I started, my favorite player was Reggie Bush. So I had 5 when I was young in Houston. Like I wanted to be an offensive guy, but I could have played both. If you look at my highlights or whatever, it's mostly offense, except when we played guys like Justin and um big time ranked guys, that was in the district, whatever, T Martin, guys like that. When we played against those kind of caliber, receivers, that I would play offense and defense and just kind of slow those guys down. But I was strictly an offensive guy, man. I didn't translate to really like strictly defense until I got to Louisiana Tech. It was like, you want to play offense, or because I was able to choose, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna play defense, man, because I don't think I could take those hits coming across the middle, man. I'm a small guy, so I'd rather deliver them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made me transform to defense.
In learning about your story, you said one of the first times you faced real adversity was tearing your ACL before your senior year of high school. What was that like getting back to the game and going through something like that? Because obviously, we see you and how gritty you are and your mentality. One of the first times that you dealt with something was the ACL. How
Yeah,
was that? How tough was that coming back from that?
it was. It was crazy, man. I don't want to underestimate it. It was tough, but I think I handled it better than everyone expected. I handled it better than I expected. I remember it was hard because I was planning on having a great summer that summer, going to these All American camps. I wanted to showcase, and I was a smaller guy. I wanted to show people that I belong with the top guys in the world. And just working out, doing what I'm supposed to do, and I make a step on the ladder, and I tear my ACL. And it was just devastating, man. But I remember one of my high school friends. He told me, because he went through that too, and he was like, just attack the therapy. And my dad was like, you already healed, man. Just attack the therapy. And I was doing a lot of overtime, man. A lot of overtime. I mean, I got some videos I put, I still got on Facebook from years ago. I was in a gym, with one of my trainers. Shout out Shaheem. I was with one of my trainers all hours, like I'm talking about, from probably 11 o'clock to like 3 in the morning, having to go to school the next day, what I'm saying? Just getting that extra, doing that extra work and whatever. So I think I handled that well, man. It was, and it helped me mentally. And when I saw that guy was real, you know, being able to trust the process, I was able to, I didn't really think about the ECL. I already knew I was healed.
No doubt. And then you get to Louisiana Tech. They say, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to specialize in? Can you summarize how was your college experience? Because knowing your experience there, it seemed like with each passing year, you got better and made
Yeah.
more plays on defense.
Yeah. It was a decision, LSU and Louisiana Tech. I knew I was staying in Louisiana, because of my son. I had a son, so I wanted to be closer to home with him. So I knew I was just enjoying it. I knew I wasn't going to those other schools. They were big schools, but I knew I wasn't going there. I was staying in Louisiana. And when I was able to pick the decision, um, I went to Skip Holtz and I went to Orgeron, and I asked, Orgeron, it was like, they had offered, but they kind of, how they go when they offer you, but it's a numbers game, whatever. I still was gonna go. I just wanted the opportunity to be able to. All I had to do was get there, but unfortunately, they didn't offer. What the offer wasn't on the table no more. And I went to Tech. I remember going to Tech, and I asked Skip Holtz that I was like, if I come here, because I was one of the highest rated players that they offered. I was like, if I come here, I want number one. He was like, why you want number one? I'm like, because when I come here, I'm gonna be the best guy on your defense. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But when I got there, I had to. When I signed and I talked to him, he was like, "Well, he got some seniors that said that in order for you to come here and wear number one, like, they feel like you haven't done nothing to wear number one." I'm like, okay, I'm gonna earn it. And just when I got there, I just had that mindset that I was the best. I was, no matter how young and small I was the best. And as the years went on, I was in the film room all hours of the night, lifting, going on the field, just. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys, I'm not saying that a lot of guys didn't already have that work ethic, but it kind of, I kind of grew a lot of respect from a lot of older guys. And my play even, went through the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? And I remember after my freshman year when I won MVP, Skip Holtz, like the season was already over, but we was like off, and Skip Holtz was like, "Do you want to? You the first person I'm asking, do you want to wear number one?" I'm like, you know what, man, I was immature. Like, I don't. It's all good. Like, I don't even want it though. I'm gonna keep 21, and of course, my career took off from there. I had a great time at Louisiana Tech. Man, Louisiana Tech helped me grow.
How would you describe the draft process? I know you get selected by the Las Vegas Raiders, and you get an opportunity now in the NFL.
Yeah,
What was it like meeting with the teams? I know they're probably looking at everything, discussing your size, your abilities, and things like that. I know it's a tough process. How
yeah.
was it? How would you describe it for you?
It was COVID, man. COVID was very frustrating, so I couldn't. My first team I visited was the Eagles. I talked to their GM. He was talking about Maddox, the guy that the Maddox. I think that's his name. He's a smaller DB. He was like, but it's like that was the only team I was able to visit with, and they like I said, because of COVID, whatever. It was a great experience, man. Being able to talk to those teams on Zoom calls and just get to know how the process go, because all of it was new to me. All of it was new to me, man. But um, I very much enjoyed it. Draft day. Only frustration part was, I had the injury that the growing injury that I couldn't fly back to Indianapolis to show everyone that I was clear. So I had a red flag on my injury. So it was kind of a setback. Every team kind of was side eyeing it because they didn't know if I was healthy or not. And it kind of hurted my draft stock a little bit, but it's all good. I'm here. I'm here for a reason. The Raiders called, man. It was very. It was relief, but I was also angry at the same time. I was because I feel like all these teams passing me up and was picking guys that I knew I was better than. And I think I was able to enjoy that time with my family and all that. They was able to shift my mind back to reality. Like just be blessed, man, that you were able to be in that 1% of getting drafted. And, that's what kind of shift my mind back to positivity. So I was able to enjoy my time with my family.
Similar to Amon-Ra St. Brown, I do think that some
Yeah,
adversity is good for players. Like you
yeah,
thought you were going to go a little bit higher, and you see
yeah,
others getting drafted, and you're like, you know what? Now it's time to go to work, showcase.
yeah,
Hey, that's the right way to take it. The
yeah,
the abilities that you have, you say, hey, maybe that gave you that little extra motivation to get in the film room, do the work you needed to do, maybe put in the extra hours that maybe somebody else wouldn't. And
yeah,
then you had an opportunity last year. You come to Ford Field, you see what it's
yeah,
like and how wild it is in Detroit in
yeah.
prime time. You come in with the Raiders, you're playing a Lions team that's having success. What was that experience like for you as a Raider coming into Ford Field? Because prime time, you know how the
Yeah.
fans get down, and they were
Yeah.
into it for sure against the Raiders, your team.
It was a very good experience, man. Because that was that team that I faced, man. When I was at the Raiders and we faced the Lions. The Lions keep you on your heels, man. Like they're a very explosive offense. They could hit you from any way. So they kept us on our heels, man. But one thing I know I did, man, when I was out there, man, I was sharping. I was trying to bite people kneecaps off. But as I'm paying attention to the team, I'm like, that's a good team. But not knowing that I was going to be a part of it, you know, the very next year, it's just crazy how God worked, man. When I was there, like I saw the fans, I saw the players were, behind the scenes, I saw how Dan was as a coach. I know I was able to fit right into it.
Now the opportunity presents itself. You're a free agent. Boom, the opportunity presents itself to come to Detroit. You mentioned you had opportunities with other teams, but Detroit, based on what you saw, you felt like probably too with knowledge of AG, learning about what he's about. What was it about the Lions that made you want to sign, ink the deal to come here to play?
You know what, man? I just followed my heart, man. Because the Lions came the first day. They came the first day. They offered me the deal, and I kind of was like, well, I want this deal. I want more years, whatever. Okay, we're gonna give a call back, and then but it stuck with me. When I saw the trade with Carlton Davis, my agent was like, the Lions might be out, man, because Carlton they just traded for Carlton. I'm like, for some reason, I still belong there. Like I need to be there. Like my heart is telling me that I need to be at the Lions. So my agent was like, you don't want to wait. I mean, so you don't want to talk to these teams? I'm like, nah. Like I don't want to talk to those teams. Like I want to wait for the Lions. Let's wait till tomorrow and see if they come back. And I prayed, like I remember stressing about it, man. I prayed about it. I just got on my knees, man. The night before was like, you know what, God, whatever happens, I'm gonna follow your lead. And the next morning, the Lions called again, and I told my agent, man, get the deal done. I just felt like I needed to be here, man. Like the mentality, you know, where they come from, how they able to build each other up, man. Their whole team, they out there flying around. Like I just felt like I fit right into the style of play, and I feel like I've been doing it so far this year. So I seem like I made a great great decision.
No doubt. And credit to you. I'll say this, in doing this job, obviously when a new player signs, you learn, you go and you learn about the player, what they're about. Never, no free agent in the last 7 years had the response that you had when you came in because multiple Raiders reporters messaged me, not me messaging them. They messaged me and they said, Amik is an individual that is going to gravitate toward that city. They all said perfect fit for the locker room as
Yeah,
you
yeah,
working in the media, he's going to be perfect. And I was like, my goodness, 6, 7 people were like, great, great, thumbs up. And so kudos to you for what you
yeah.
put, the work that you've done and the foundation that you laid as a person and as a player. And now you get to go. And this biggest reason, really, I wanted to talk to you. You get to practice against one of the dogs in the National Football League and Amon-Ra St. Brown and the other receivers. And we hear about the practices. What's it like one-on-one battle with him? Because I know you're competitive and I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
14's competitive. What's it like? Because I know you both probably are miserable if you lose a single rep.
yeah. The first day, speaking of the first day I got here, man, I knew, Tudor, I knew coming into here it wasn't gonna be. I knew a lot of guys knew who I was because of the like I was the guy that was chirping a lot when we played them when I was at the Raiders. So I knew that some guys were gonna know who I was. But I knew what kind of team this was. Like, you can't just come in and just think. You gotta earn that, man. You gotta earn that, and that's what I wanted to do. And I remember the first day OTAs, man. Me and Amara Saint lined up across from each other, and he was killing me, dog. Like I'm talking about, he went about 4 for 4 on me. Like in certain situations we was going through, in 7-on-7, and I went home and I'm like. I did not come here to be like this is like nah. I'm a dog too. I don't care if he's Amara Saint. Like I've just came from going against Devontae Adams. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care if he's it was a respect thing, but it was mostly me telling myself he's a dog, but I'm a dog too. And that next day I went crazy. Like the next day I went crazy. I'm talking about interception. You got you he know I went crazy, man. And guys are like, he could play. But just lining up across from a guy like that, he's man, hard worker, competitive. I mean, we all know about his background. Hard worker, man, competitive guy, very reliable, dependable. I mean, this 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 team going into the right direction with guys like Amara Saint, man. Like that's all I can see. Guys like Panay, Amara Saint, Golf, Jay Mo, like this, give this team is going into the right direction.
And guys like 21 too, because
Yeah.
in looking at your film last year, if you gave up a play, the one thing that this football team respects, and that's why the fans respect you as well, is hey, you give up a play, get to the next one, make the next
Yeah.
play, be willing to get after it, not let one play dictate how you're going to be about. Now you're part of this football team. It went
Yeah.
15-2. How fun is it? Because we talked a lot, we joked a lot, a little bit. I
Yeah.
heard you say it, man. I'm not used to all this winning.
Yeah.
You get 11 game winning streak. You're having all this fun. Listen. As reporters, we ain't used to seeing that many games in a row won by an NFL team. And you finished the year 15-2. What was it like as a player? Because even as a player, no player's used to winning that many games in a regular season.
I think for me, man, me personally, I know a lot of guys, they enjoy winning. Some guys rather, they just rather win, but I'm the type of guy, man, I want to be a part of why we're winning. I just don't want. And on top of that, once you get you like the winnings, like you don't want to get comfortable. Like so for me, for the winning, of course, I'm not used to it, but I don't want to make it far and don't get the big one because we know what our goal is, man. Our goal is to win a Super Bowl. I don't really talk about it too. I only talk about it if I'm asked about it, but we know what our goal is, man, and that's to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, I've never been a part of winning, but I also do know how the bottom feel. I know how being not really good of a team and nobody really, I know how that feel and I don't want to go back to that. So I don't really get too caught up into the hype and whatever. And those guys don't either. We're keep winning. I mean, we winning. We want to keep winning, man, because they went to the NFC Championship last year. We don't want to get to the NFC Championship and don't, you know what I'm saying? So we just keep our eyes on the prize, man, because we know what our goal is and we want that big one, and we gonna do whatever we can to make sure we secure it this year, and we don't want it to slip through our hands. So we try to keep our head focused, man. Like a lot of guys, we are on the same path that we've been on, as far as the goal. We're not getting caught up into everything we did Sunday. We knew we were gonna do. They were, like I said, they were just in the way, and everyone else is in the way. So we just got to do whatever we can to win that big one.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know the impact, and I know you get a sense of it, but the impact of the words you use on social media really reverberates with fans and also people like me. You
Yeah,
wrote today, the difference between me and them, they get comfortable, I don't. I need y'all to really feel me. And that's the kind of message you've always put out this year, which is, hey, yeah, we had a couple wins, we've done well, but there's more. I want to
yeah,
tell you guys, I don't just play one good game. I don't just
yeah,
play one good series. I'm here to
yeah.
do this the long haul. And the
Correct.
message, I learned that, that your grandfather really put and helped put the warrior mentality into you. Like,
Yeah,
hey, yeah, I'm good, but I can be better. I can get to that point where that yellow jacket can be around Amik
yes,
Robertson's
yes,
shoulder. Tell us
yes.
about your grandpa, because I know the impact of family members can have on a mindset. And for you, mindset's so key. What was that like for you? Because I know you have the warrior mentality. How did that get instilled in you?
It was basically something that, each and every time it was me and my cousin, every time like something would happen and we get in trouble, whatever, or we get fussed at or whatever, like anything bad would happen, my cousin would cry. But I wouldn't, and he was like, you see Meek, see he a warrior. It's like he got something in him that's just different. I'm talking about sometimes he will whoop me. He will whoop me to the extreme until I cry. And it took a lot for me to cry. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a lot, man. He died when I was a little, when I was a little younger, probably like I think I was like in middle school or maybe I was like in middle school or high school, maybe my ninth grade, y'all, eighth grade. It was one of them. He died around that time, man. But he just gave me that mindset of no matter how hard it get, man, you gotta push through. You have to fight, and you can't show no weakness. And once you do get to that point, there's always more. Like that's always more. Never get caught up into the hype, man. Like it's always more. And it just stuck with me. And when he died, man, I told him. I remember when I was about to pull a plug on him. They asked if anyone wanted to say anything else to him. Of course, he probably couldn't hear or whatever. But I told him that I was going to do what I said I was going to do, and years now I'm in the NFL. It's just, and I know he's been with me every step of the way. I just try to keep every time I'm out down working hard. I feel like it's harder. I just hear his voice in my head. And I just seem to push, and it goes a long way. You don't just go with football. It go with anything. Like when stuff get hard with family members or it's just anything, any adversity that I face. I just hear his voice in my head that, anytime something negative happened, I always try to get a positive out of it. And I mean, it got me this far. Why did why change it?
Now, this week, prior to the Vikings game, you get the assignment Tuesday. You find
Yeah.
out, all right, mano a mano, Amik Robertson versus Justin Jefferson. How excited were you? I can tell because you guys go way back battling, and you guys played earlier this year. He's a talker, he's an alpha, he's a wideout. You're an alpha. You want to shut it down. But if you look in full honesty, if someone said, okay, Amik Robertson versus Justin Jefferson, fantasy players, everybody would have said, okay, the advantage is probably going to lean on the Vikings. But no, you shut it down. You showed, and watching the film back, my goodness, the angles, the technique that you used all your skills to be able to shut down one of the top wideouts in the National Football League. How'd you do it? How rewarding was it? And look, I don't want to praise it too much because I know you can
Yeah.
keep doing it, but
Mm.
you should appreciate the accomplishment. You really were a big factor why the Lions won 31-9.
I think when they texted me that too, well, he told AG talked to me after the 49ers game. He told me that might be the scenario. I thought it was going to be something different. I thought we were going to do a different thing, but that Tuesday he texted me, Amik, you on 18. I knew we had from that text message. I knew we had a chance to win because I knew that all the whole burden, it was on me. The game was in my hands. Amik, if he eats, you guys lose. If you eat, the Lions win. If you keep him out of the game, the Lions win. I knew from that moment we were going to win that game. I just knew, man, because I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Like moments like this my whole life. I never was able to shadow a number one. It's times that I'd be like, I could lock this guy up. I could, but this is an action world. You have to go out. You have to go out there and do it, right? Talk is cheap. You have to go out there and do it. And when I got the opportunity to um um do this on the state, like go against the best, arguably the best receiver in the game, on a one of the biggest games of the year. Everybody's watching. Every time Amik Robertson had an opportunity, man, I've always kicked the throw in. I've always kicked the throw in. I had no pressure. I knew I was going to play that good. I did. I didn't know I was going to drop that pick, but I knew I was going to play good. I just didn't know I was going to get a game ball because I was just out there playing football, man. I didn't see. I just blacked out, and me and Jets have had battles throughout the years, man. He's faced some good corners, but I just feel like those guys don't have the mentality that I have. I have a lot of respect for a lot of corners in this league, but I just feel like the guys that he like, some of them don't have the mentality that I have. Like I just have a different mentality, and the world just figuring it out, but they just don't know. Like I have more in my tank, man. Now that I got the spotlight, I'm not really too comfortable. I'm not too comfortable because it's always more. Now that I got the spotlight, I'm gonna continue putting it out that I belong in this league and I have the skills and the mindset to be one of the best.
Absolutely. And look, for talented players like yourself, do it on the biggest stage. Playoffs are
Yeah,
here. This is what we're
yeah,
looking for. Do it
yeah,
against
no
the
doubt.
NFC's top. And the NFC looks good. You guys are sitting at the top of it. So it's going
Yeah,
to be great. And I know just how much you wanted to get your hands on the ball. But look, you're a playmaker. You know it. You know what you mean to the defense. And now you're having an opportunity.
yeah,
Obviously, Carlton Davis, the injury has now
yeah,
put you in that position. You got to be adaptable. And that's what this football team has really kind of showcased is when people get their opportunity, the members of the roster have stepped up across all
yeah,
of the defense. At
yeah,
linebacker, defensive line, and at safety, you have players across the board that have really stepped up and kind of quieted all the naysayers. But you bring in also a young guy as well. What's it like looking at and watching a young cat in Terrion Arnold come in and learn his way throughout his first NFL season? Because I know he's looking to you too for leadership and guidance as well.
yeah, yeah. I, Cheyenne is a unique individual, man. A unique individual. But I tell you what, he's he's different from what I was when I came in. Not really the mindset, but he was more NFL ready, right? Dog mentality, like a real dog. I text him. I told him too. This game was that game against the Vikings was going to be on us. He was ready. He was ready, man. But just to pick it back on what you asked, man, a unique individual, man. Great guy, hard worker. The ceiling is high for Terrion, man, and I really mean that. He know I mean that. The ceiling is very high for Terrion. I know people say this and that, but I tell him all the time, don't get too. And the thing about it, he's handled so well. It's the back and forth. Some people saying, oh, he's this, but then they be on his good side, the bad side. He's handled that so well. He's handled it like a pro, and he's on an NFL team that's winning, and he's a part of why we're winning. He was a part of why we won that game, that last game, and not only him. It's a lot like Brian Branch, Iffy, Zoo. That's Curb. It's like our secondary is so young, man, but they're so like I've told him, man, I never been a part of guy like this. Their secondary is young, but they're all football players. Like and me and Carlton, we the vets. I tell Carlton like, oh, these young guys could play. It just Brad did a great job, man. I don't know if it was Brad, Dan, AG. They did a great job of putting us together, man. It's just fun to be around, man. Especially guys like Terrion, man. Terrion is like I said, he's a different individual, man. But I tell you what, the sky is definitely the limit for him.
No doubt. And hopefully, we get to see continued progress with you and him playing together and seeing
Yeah,
what you can do in the postseason. Now, you made noise with the post-game speech that you made when you got the game ball from Coach
yeah.
Campbell. You said, they tried to bury me, dog, but you can't bury what comes from the dirt. And I think it resonated with a lot of people. They understood the meaning behind it. Elaborate what that meant to you and what it meant to you to get the game ball from the coach.
Really, that statement, man, was something that it really stuck with me for a long time. It stuck with me for a long time, like since 2016, 2017. I've tweeted it a lot, I've posted it a lot. Just people just realizing it because I didn't think it was going to get that big. But it's just the meaning of I come from the bottom. Of course, the dirt is at the bottom. I've come from the bottom. I had to earn everything that I got. I had to, make it from the bottom to and I don't even feel like I'm at the top, but I had to make it from the bottom I mean, survive the bottom to get where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even when I got here, people were still trying to like, oh, he's too small or he can't play. Did you know? It's a lot of adversity I had to face in this league, and I was at my breaking point in my first 2 years at the Raiders. I was nearly close to get to like giving up the game of football, something that I loved, and that was hard to do. But I really had to build myself back up. I had to build myself back up, and when I realized that, how could I let an individual or anyone take my confidence? And that's what got me here. My confidence is what got me here. That's what separates me from everybody. It's my confidence. Like, and when I was able to realize that, like, and really shake back into reality and build myself back up, I started getting my blessings back, man. I started praying more, and I started just being myself again. And my last 2 years at the Raiders made some plays, but unfortunately, I guess it wasn't enough plays, and they didn't want me, which is understandable. That organization gave me an opportunity to showcase what I wanted to do, but the Lions came, and that staff accepted me, and they trusted me, and they accepted me for who my play style and they tell me before every game, just go out there and be you. They don't say, oh, do this, do that. They go out there and tell me, just go out there and be you. And everybody's seen it now. Everybody's seen it now.
Yeah, and you play for, arguably now one of the hottest potential names that could be a head coach in Aaron Glenn.
Yeah,
A coach that, from the time, he came here, we learned about what he's about. Former player, played with the Jets, Saints. You've seen what he brought to the table, being that he was
yeah,
also a cornerback. But, the way in which he cares about his players, the way in which he puts everybody in the best position possible. Learning about him 4 years ago, just learning just how, also too, he's rugged. He wants to play the football the way it's supposed to be played, like hit the
yeah,
people you're supposed to hit, make the tackles, make them understand that, yeah, they might make a play, but they're going to know
yeah.
who they're
Right.
playing against each and every week. And it's a mindset, it's a mentality that Aaron Glenn had as a player and now as a coach. Why is his name being now talked about as being a name that's being interviewed by a lot of teams that have openings?
Great, great guy, man. Like great leader. And most importantly, he played the game. He's a player's coach. A lot of these guys on this line staff, man, they are player coaches. They know they know how it feels to be a player, so they know how to treat their players. They know, what kind of mindset to install in their players, the ones that probably don't have that mindset yet. And when I first met Glenn, man, we sat in the office for like an hour just talking about tape, talking about, my play style, why he wanted me here. It was just a, like, and most importantly, man, he's a leader, dog. A leader. And like you said, if something bad happens, he doesn't panic. He can have that next play mentality because he, like you said, he's played, and I don't know what's going to happen I don't know what's going to happen on the off season. Hopefully he stays here or whatever. I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, we hear the talks and all that, but I can say, man, I've learned a lot from Aaron Glenn. The short period of time that I've been here. I think he's definitely one of my blessings.
It's so unusual too because here in Detroit we've always clamored for a defense that hits, that's rugged, embody the city. Go out
Mhm.
there and make the opponent fear you. Make
Yeah,
them fear making the play over the middle. Hey,
yeah,
we football is a physical sport and we know what the league rules are doing and things like that. But now you got a guy in Kirby that is somebody that plays physical. All the defensive backs play physical. Got to ask about it, but across the league, it seems like maybe other players as we've come to 2025, maybe don't take too kindly to the physical style that you guys bring to the table. What's your reaction to some reactions that you're getting, maybe that you're seeing from other players that maybe have called Kirby a dirty player or the defense is just too much out there doing their thing? Because I look at it like this is great. This is what we've always wanted here in Detroit, but it's not maybe looked at that way across the league.
we don't care. Curb definitely doesn't. Curb played the game to win, man. Curb doesn't play the game to hurt. No, Curb is not. It's not like he's physically out there trying to hurt people. And these people have families, man. If you know Curb, the individual Curb, you would know that he's not out. He's not out trying to end people. Curb is just playing football, man. He here to know us, but Curb is not. We're not. We're gonna play our style of football, man. Cause we plan to win. We're not playing to hurt nobody. We're not playing to. but we plan to win. So if you're not trying to come out here and play the actual game of football and trying to win, we will blow. We will. We know the consequences. You know what I'm saying of that if you're not trying to play football. So I'll go right now, man. Whoever in the way, man, we just rolling over them. We just rolling over them, man, because we know what our goal is. We want to win the big one, and if you're in the way, then that's what we gonna do. And we're not even, to be honest, we're not even. Once we put it all together, but I think that last game solidified that we can put it all together. I expect us to do big things, man. Before as all that we dirty and this, we not worrying about that, man. Because a lot of guys on this team are not dirty players, man. We just love the game of football.
Not too many have gone through it. You guys basically played for 3 months without a break. Week 5
Yeah,
bye. How you
no
feeling? What
complaining,
was that like mentally? Was
no
that a challenge for
complaining.
you guys?
It was definitely a challenge, but I feel like Dan put us through it already during camp. I remember talking to Aaron Glenn, and he was like, we make camp the way like we make camp like this, so during the season it would be easy. Yeah, we had some injuries, but I felt like when we were out there having, we had that long stretch, whatever. We didn't make no excuses, man, because at the end of the day, every once in a season, every team got to go through that stretch, and we were going to be the team that be able to handle the stretch because we were put through it throughout camp. So I think Dan just did a great job of being able to prepare us, for that situation, and we'll be able to we was able to be successful, throughout the season. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was easy, but we were able to handle it, man. We didn't make any excuses. We just put our head down, man, and just let the train roll.
Dan told us the schedule: Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. How much you looking forward to that? I know probably is going to be a lot of couch time, maybe some gaming.
Yeah.
Get to relax. Just how much mentally will that 3 days do for you and the team?
I mean, I know, some of those guys need it, man. Some of those guys need it, go see their family. So we're very, happy that we were able to get that win to, so guys could be able to spend time with their family. Just kind of wind down, man. Kind of, just reset the body and mind. But as far as me, man, I'm gonna go home, go back to Louisiana, man. Just bought my mom's a house. So I'm gonna go back to Louisiana, try to help her get stuff moved in, and they'll spend time with my kids, my girl, my family, and just chill. I'm gonna just chill, man. 'Cause I know how to, I'm gonna turn my switch off. 'Cause I know everything's going crazy right now because I meet on social media. So I'm gonna try to just spend time with my family, man. Try to stay out the way. I'm trying to stay out the way, man. Kick my feet up and just chill out, man. And when I come back up here, turn the switch back on
Why is this football team ready to win the Super Bowl right now, this year, 2024?
because it's time and the mindset that we got, man. It's Super Bowl or bust. It's Super Bowl or bust. And Dan says it all the time. If you knew you were on limited time, what would you do? If you knew that you was think about it, we're all on limited time, man. If you were on limited time, if you knew you only guaranteed what 2, 3 games left, how would you play? That that answers your question.
No doubt about it, man. I love to hear that. Super Bowl or bust. You don't hear that from players too often. Needed to be said. Look, we know the mission. You're part of the team. That's a big reason why this football team is 15-2. Credit to you and the work that you do, the mindset that you bring, the attitude that you bring in the locker room. Never a dull moment. Always seeing the positive
Yeah,
swagger that you bring
yeah,
to the table. You make it
yeah.
fun to do this job. And I knew I wanted to talk to you on a podcast platform. I knew you'd be somebody that would be inspirational and would give the insights as to the reason why this football team is 15-2. With our last few moments, let's get to know Amik Robertson, some things that people maybe want to know. Man, this is a big topic around football players and everything like that. Every time I talk about it, how do you like your steak? How do you like it? Because a lot of the players, debate medium rare, rare. How do you, when you enjoy a steak, how do you like it?
I'm kind of I'm kind of mixed with it, man. I like well done, medium well, medium like it's hard. It's hard, man. But I'm gonna go with medium well.
Medium well, okay.
Yeah,
Pepsi or
yeah.
Coke?
What's crazy? I don't really, honestly, man. I don't really drink. I don't really drink sodas, man. I don't really. I drink water, Gatorade, water, Gatorade. I don't really drink. I don't really drink sodas.
What's the last movie that you saw in the theater?
The last in the theater or the last movie that I
Both.
watched. Okay,
Last in the
in the
theater on
theater.
TV.
I'm gonna say the last movie that I watched in theater was Mufasa. Great movie. Lion King, the new Mufasa movie. The movie I watched before the game was Hurricane Season. It's a movie based off in New Orleans. You know, after for the hurricane, it was a movie with John Eric High School, and they went through the hurricane and all that. And it was a coach that kind of built the team back and ended up winning state after Hurricane Katrina.
Who's the GOAT? Kobe, Jordan, LeBron?
LeBron James.
Why?
LeBron James. He's a different athlete, man. Like, look, if we count rings, then Jordan is not the GOAT. So it got to be LBJ. I got LBJ. I'm gonna say Jordan and Kobe the same people. So I gotta go. I gotta go LBJ, man. LBJ, easily.
All right. If you're going to invite some guys over to play some Madden, who do you want in the room with you to game with?
I got some guys back at home, man. I got some guys back at home that build the game a lot. So I'm gonna shout out my friends, from back at home. Big Man, Ramon, Trail, Amp. It's a lot of them, man. Weed shit, man. It's a lot of them. But far as Detroit, I'm gonna go with probably Ennis. Probably
Okay.
Ennis.
If I
Ennis,
need to get
Ennis in
amped
Detroit.
up, if I'm dragging, got to write a lot of stories, got a lot of talk to players, and I want to put on a headphone and get amped up, what does Amik Robertson listen to get hyped?
I will probably go Meek Mill. Meek Mill.
Why Meek Mill?
Because he's the definition of, struggle, man, and coming from the bottom. That's why, that's I kind of think that's what defined me, man. I'm a dream chaser. I got it in my and Meek Mill is a dream chaser. So yeah, I would go with Meek Mill, man, because of the mindset, everything he's been through, and he was able to build himself back up and be able to be a wealthy individual and be able to take care of his family. He took everything, the negative that he had, and he turned it into a positive.
Outside of football, you get to relax and do stuff. What are you doing? What would you like to do for fun?
Basketball and fishing. Basketball, man. Basketball, fishing. That's what I like to do. Outside of football, if I'm not trying to be in the house. Basketball and fishing.
No doubt. You know your teammate, Frank Ragnow, big channel, big individual in terms of doing the fishing. You can get out there with him?
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, after the season, man, I gotta hook up with somebody. If I'm gonna be here, I gotta hook up with somebody, man, to go fishing, man. I love fishing. Fishing just relax. It's competitive, but it's relaxed. It kind of relaxes the mind, the patience. I love fishing, man. But when I want to move around and get active, I get on the court, man. I had that ball in my hand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What's the scouting report on your basketball game?
I'm gonna go. I'm more of a ant guy, man. I'm more of an Anthony Edwards guy. Yeah, because I'm very explosive. To say I'm sure I'm very explosive. But Anthony Edwards is of course tall, but Anthony Edwards do everything. He score and he play defense, and that's what I do. I play defense and I score. So I'm gonna go with Anthony Edwards.
We've enjoyed the conversation with Amik Robertson. I knew having this conversation with you would be enlightening.
Yeah,
Thank you
for
so
sure.
much for the time. Look, big things ahead, in the future. You're here on a 2-year deal. We hope the best for you. Continued health and success. Keep up the great mindset. Any last words for the listeners here listening to the conversation that we've had?
Oh, thank y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for having me, man. One Pride family. Thank y'all for accepting me. Let's continue doing great things, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all.